Absolutely. You mentioned the electronics. I try to buy American or at least Canadian or Mexican. At least there's some trade between us. And I never go in Walmart. I hardly ever go in Target. And I never buy things I don't need that are made overseas. But at the same time, we're coming out with these little flash drives that have Infowars.com on them because people keep requesting them. So what gets requested, we add to the store. And you cannot buy flash drives made in America. Now, we are getting the Infowars printed in America. And guess what? That costs twice as much as it does to have it done in China. So these things are going to cost a couple dollars more than a flash drive at the store because the Infowars.com is printed in America. And so, I mean, you cannot find them made in America. What is the, I mean, we have a sponsor, Diamond Gusset Jeans, made in Tennessee and Georgia, and they cost a few bucks more because there's higher taxes, regulations, but they're a lot better jeans. We have to make the decision.
That's right. We have to make the decision, and we have to make it in the USA. And until we do that, we're doomed. We cannot survive by becoming a service sector society and consuming more than we produce. It's impossible. So it can be reversed. And again, I don't eat corporate food. I'm Italian. I know what good food is.
I don't do that, yeah.
I don't go into Walmart. I go into Walmart just to do research. It's like going into a large self-storage unit. So we have to get back to the quality that this country used to have. And what we have in the Trends Journal, when you talk about solutions, it's called the 20% solution. If 20% of the people go into a new direction, the rest will follow. The sheep will go in any direction you want. And I believe there are 20% of the people out there that want the country to go into that direction, that can stop wars, that can stop us going on the path that we're on, if they stand up, regain their courage and their dignity.
Absolutely. Gerald Celente, we're going to let you go. Briefly, tell folks what is in this month's key trendsresearch.com journal and how folks get a digital or hard copy.
Well, they could go to our website, trendsresearch.com or trendsjournal.com. And what we're working on now in the upcoming summer issue that'll be out in several weeks, mid-July latest, is really how to survive and thrive in these coming times. And among the things to do, and I don't give financial advice, I'm telling you what I do. I have 80% of my money in gold. I used to have my cash split between dollars and euros. Now it's split between dollars, francs, Swiss francs, and Canadian dollars. All I want to do in this time with my cash and investments is not to lose it. Gold is my wild card. I believe that gold is going to go to $2,000 an ounce. This year, it looks like $1,500 an ounce.
Well, that's what Mark Twain said. That's what Mark Twain said. He said, I don't care about the return on my money. All I want is the return of my money when speaking of banking.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And people we really believe they should start preparing for the worst to come. If the worst doesn't come and you made provisions, you've lost nothing. If the worst happens as we see it happening and you've made no provisions, then you lose everything.
Well, in closing, I want to just say this. It's already happened. The media is lying about jobs, but even with cooked numbers, 95% are government, with them firing and rehiring the census people every month on record. Stores are shutting down everywhere. All I hear is debt ads on the radio. All I see is more homeless people everywhere. Mexico's fully collapsed. They're laying off police and firemen and essential services everywhere, but the taxes are going up on interest to the bankers. I mean, we've got to default on all this fraudulent stuff or it's over. So your predictions came true, Gerald. My predictions came true. It's just, unfortunately, your prediction of the greatest depression now looks like a certainty. And so we're going from trying to stop the bankers from ruining us to now trying to just salvage something. And people better get up off their hind ends now. Gerald Celente, thank you for spending an hour and 45 minutes with us today, and we'll talk to you again in the near future.
Hey, thank you, Alex.
There goes Gerald Celente. Thank you, Gerald. Trendsresearch.com. I mean, I go home every night when I get home early enough to eat dinner with the family, and I'm sitting there with my wife, and, we're eating dinner, and she's just like, we need to sell this house and get to the country. And I'm like, well, honey, I can't commute an hour and a half into the office. I mean, it is, but it's becoming the point of it's not a luxury to live in the country. It's a necessity. But I've got a big crew here and people I've got to direct and work I've got to do. And I'm 30 minutes already from my office, or 25 minutes. But, I mean, I don't want to be in the city when all hell breaks loose. I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, it's like I know intellectually that I'm right. I don't get up here and say things I don't think are true. People like 10 years ago, Alex says they're going to sell derivatives and have a global financial meltdown and set up a Bank of the World and a global carbon tax. That guy's a lunatic. I was reading UN, Club of Rome, Trilateral Commission documents. I mean, this is not me sitting here predicting the future, okay? I mean, this is what these people do. It's what they've done in third world countries over and over again. Gerald's been able to predict the future by exactly when it's going to happen by tracking their criminal activities. I just knew they were training the military. Listen, let me tell you something. 13 years ago, I went to my first urban warfare drill and witnessed U.S. Marines with foreign troops training to take Americans' guns and admitting it was for America. And I went on the air and I said, I don't know if they're going to try it this year or 10 years from now, but they are training our military for martial law. We've got a problem, ladies and gentlemen. And then I read what the big central banks had done all over the world. I read and researched what they'd done over and over again. And these people are obsessive compulsive. They are creatures of habit. I'm trying to think of the proper word for it. They're pathological. They just do it over and over and over and over and over. I mean, we know how they break up families. We know how they put in surveillance. We know how they federalize police. We know how they set up FEMA centers. We know how they collapse societies as their cover. We know how they launch wars. We know what they do. You know, I get intel in January of last year, 18 months ago or more now, and I get emergency managers on, and I get the actual documents, and I call the phone numbers, and the Bureau of Cemeteries ask me, how did you get this in New York? And they get hopping mad and say, hold on, I'm calling the police. You're not supposed to have that. You know, I found out it was real, that they were going to launch some type of flu hysteria. I knew 3 months before. But we were able to get the jump on them, and so record numbers didn't take it, and they weren't able to go to full martial law. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, do you know what it's like to have the responsibility to know in the aggregate hundreds of millions of people listen to me on a month-to-month, year-to-year basis, and that this is life and death. This isn't a game. The FEMA camps aren't a game. The cancer viruses and the vaccines aren't a game. The sodium fluoride in the water that literally attacks every organ in your body isn't a game. And then I see a show on Cartoon Network like Squidbillies where they're ignorant, it's always okay to have a stereotype of Southerners as a bunch of scum, racist, filth, morons who think fluoride is going to attack their testicles and sterilize them. That's actually what it does. I can pull up, in fact, I meant to